2022, the Alliance for Peacebuilding, in partnership with the U.S. Institute of Peace, was thrilled to celebrate 10 years of our annual PeaceCon. The Alliance for Peacebuilding's network of over 165 organizations, together with more than 1,600 participants at PeaceCon, proves that the peacebuilding field is robust, committed, and growing. We know that we don't have to accept that violent conflict is inevitable, and that peacebuilding is possible in faraway places and in neighborhoods just down the street. But we do have a violent global conflict problem. Even before the war in Ukraine, the world was already experiencing a 30-year high in violent conflict. We know that peacebuilding is hard work, and if we want to build sustainable peace and resilient societies, then we have to be able to envision a different future that depends on all of us. AFP is launching its new field building strategy, designed to elevate standards of practice, develop an evidence base for our work, advocate for game-changing policies, and accelerate common purpose and collective action. We know peace doesn't just happen, it must be built. And together, we can address issues too large for any one organization to address alone. Join us.
Dear friends, together and only together can we build a more resilient, sustainable, just, prosperous, and peaceful world.
Many of us who work in peacebuilding continue to use the peacebuilding tools and mechanisms which we've established after decades of trial and error. But one of the questions facing all of us as peacebuilders is whether we need to do more to create new tools and mechanisms in light of the pressures we're collectively facing.
We need to get out in front of these problems. We need to take risks. Bureaucracy doesn't do that. We need to get policymakers to focus on prevention. Everyone says that's a great idea, but then they get right back to today's crisis, tomorrow's crisis. That is our challenge. That's going to be really, really hard.
We've learned that including more voices at the table ultimately fosters more sustainable final agreements. The more people, the better. The more voices, the better. The more experiences, the better.
We're committed to the Alliance for Peacebuilding being a space where we are expanding the field, learning, really committed to more collective action. We know that this is needed now more than ever.
So the vision we really have is, can we position the health sector as a contributor to peace through its health interventions? There cannot be health without peace, and there cannot be peace without health.
Historically, pandemics have forced us to break with the past and imagine what could this new world look like. And the COVID-19 pandemic is no different. And we all, as a field, have the option to either stay back in the old and continue doing things the way we used to, or we can move forward and how can we do it better together.
Of the 25 countries that are classified as most vulnerable to climate change by the UN, 14 are conflict affected or are in states of intractable conflict. And there are myriad ways in which we're seeing climate change and conflict systems come together to create even more complex realities.
Climate change may force all of us on Earth to be better, including the United States. Isn't it a moral failing to give up or be nihilistic or pessimistic? Pessimism of the intellect, optimism of the will. You stay hopeful as a political position, as an act of the will.
As we know, evidence demonstrates that including women in peace processes can lead to more sustainable peace and durable outcomes.
Faith matters in peacebuilding and social justice work because, as I mentioned, faith communities all around the world have the answers and the guidance on how we can all do the work of peacemaking and work towards addressing violence and injustice around the world.
What we are trying to do today to present these results, to present the best practices and experiences that we have, to understand that these information that are being collected, we are accountable for, to use them in order to better implement initiatives that benefit the local communities.
The good news is that there is an alternative way of thinking about peace that is very much available to people. It's a more active understanding, a recognition that peace is something that has to be built over time through ongoing effort.
Our political culture, our civic culture, is of equal significance in both diagnosing the problem and finding a path to a solution.
And here in the United States, and the work that AFP has done to bring the US peacebuilding community together and to connect it with the international peacebuilding community, and to move out of a role of American exceptionalism and to be accepting the wisdom from other countries that have managed deep divides.
Amidst all the chaos and hardships of the last year, in remembrance of all of those we have lost to COVID, violence, and conflict, I find hope and I am inspired by the work that you are doing. Honestly, those little and those big bits of good, may they come together and truly overwhelm the world.